beams of light coming in the car, hovering behind me. Wouldn't surprise me, you know. There's some strange stuff going on. There's some really weird stuff. Yeah, basically last night, so I come home from work. Maybe I should reel it back a bit. So I had something on my foot and one on my toes, and it was sore, and I was wearing these boots, and I've never had any trouble with these type of boots before, but for some reason my foot was swelling, this toe was swelling up, and so I was wearing like double socks and whatever to sort of make it easier to wear the boots, and then eventually I just switched to trainers, and my toe was like double the size of the other one. I was thinking, blimey. So eventually I went to Decathlon, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to get some shoes, because I started wearing trainers. It started to feel a bit better, but the trainers weren't that supportive for my feet. So anyway, I went to Decathlon, got some shoes, cost me about £62, and you know, very comfortable sort of hiking, walking boots, that sort of thing. And I didn't think too much of it. And yesterday I noticed the skin was peeling off it, so I thought, oh, it's either a good sign or a bad sign. And I thought, I wonder what it is. Is something bit me on the toe? And I looked at it, and there's always a little bit of red mound to it. So I got a pair of like hair cutting scissors, and I thought, you know, if I could just pierce it slightly, then I could see if there's any pus or anything comes out of it. You know, I put the scissor blade on it, and it wouldn't go in. And so I thought, well, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna go out to work in it. I'm gonna end up sort of savage my foot. I just thought, you know, if I could make a little pinprick in it, then any muck or anything, get that out and clean it up. And I didn't think too much anyway, so I went to work. I come home, and I was upstairs, and I was just trying to watch a bit of YouTube or whatever I was up to, and I could hear something outside, and I thought, that's a bit weird. And there's no lights out there, and no one's getting any vehicles. And so I pulled back the curtain, and my car was parked fairly close to where I live, and I could see it. Basically, it was just sort of like it's probably about 5 foot away from my window. Really, it's not that far at all. And well, maybe a bit more than that, maybe let's say about 10. Either way, I could see it, and I looked at the window, and I could see something here, and it looked like a tablet. And I thought, well, nobody's in my vehicle. I did hear something like a noise of a door, and I looked to the neighbouring one. I thought, well, there's no one in there. It's not like a reflection in the window. And I thought, well, it's either a reflection in the window, but then what on earth someone doing with a tablet? They're trying to like hack into my car. But my car, it does have some sort of computer terminal thing built into it. I think you'd have to plug directly into it, like USB type thing. It does have Bluetooth, but I think that Bluetooth mechanism is off at the moment. You can pair it up with devices, but I'm not aware you could hack into it. Anyway, it just looked like this giant, but it wasn't like a standard phone, because most phones are a lot smaller than that. They could fit in your palm. And this looked like it was like a brick size, you know, it was really like that, and I couldn't see anyone holding it, or just some weird reflection almost, and it was, you know, like here inside the car. And I was thinking, well, I don't understand what I'm looking at. Anyway, so I had my car keys in my pocket, and so I pressed it, and I put the just to make sure it was locked, because I thought just make sure it's locked anyway. I looked at it, I thought, well, I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense to me. So I went to bed that night, and I had a dream, and it was a nice dream. I guess it must have some romantic elements to it, but it was odd as well. So there was a woman, and she was a black woman, sort of lighter skinned on a black sort of skin spectrum, if you could put it, like a maybe honeycomb a bit, and she had dark hair that was sort of a bit more ringlet, so it's a kind of more into a bob, maybe, possibly. And anyway, but the thing is, it was strange. She was basically getting off with me. She had her tongue in my mouth. I could consciously wake up, not unless something was being put in my mouth. That's the weird thing. And it wasn't just like a little bit, it was a lot. It was enough for me to remember it as I come round. It's sort of strange. It wasn't unpleasant, but yeah, maybe somebody put something in my mouth and was doing some checks on me internally. Maybe I've got an implant in there. maybe it's like a succubus type thing going on, but some alien influences there. It's odd, because the technology thing, looking at some giant tablet, I'm just trying to think of the dimensions. So it's possibly, like I say, the kind of the circumference of a brick in that type of shape. So it's clearly a tablet rather than a phone. And there was some data being shown on the screen. I couldn't see what it was. I can see it's sort of like a white screen with some black writing on it. And also the choice of a black woman to be some reason getting off of me, having a French kiss. I mean, I could clearly feel that. I could feel something going on, but maybe I felt, just it sounds bizarre, I mean, I felt that her tongue was further down my throat than mine was, and so it could be clearly something going into my throat, and it's one of these interpretations, and possibly using some type of telepathy, using some type of mechanism of control there, which all sounds like a big wild fantasy. But it's just unusual perceptions that roll into an event that doesn't quite make sense, and as a result you can't really process it. And it's okay for science not to be fully processed, so if something's a bit inconclusive, rather than write it off as a bad report or data, have it kept there on the back burner as something not fully understood, or not enough data to compute it fully or analyse it. And also to accept the way it is, because if you put biases into things, then you limit your understanding of reality. You know, it's a bit like if you were heavily religious, that you wouldn't allow certain scientific explanations to be even acknowledged, let alone anything else. And then the other thing as well is the benefit of having an experience is to meditate. Now, I did meditate on a few things, and I was meditating on something like Sirius in space, and it was some like a Anubis. There was these people, and I couldn't see their face. They had these masks on. They likely do have dark, hairy bodies, and they had this Anubis type breathing apparatus mask on, and they were in a ship, and they were in some sort of they were like in a comatose state. Oh God, what on earth is this guy reversing? No. And then one of them kind of switched on when I come near it, the eyes on it. Who knows what's in there. I think I might have had conversed a little bit with it, because the other thing is that it's you know, you are able to try to figure out where you're from, and I think some of them, because of the what they call the broken bracelet or whatever, the asteroid field around the Earth, sometimes they assume that was the end of the Earth at that point, so it's been masking some of our bio information to track us. I mean, there's obviously beings that know we're here, otherwise we could get a lot of activity, but generally they're observing us. And it'd be interesting what these masks entities. So yeah, well, the main thing is just have a kind of fairly friendly dialogue, and if you feel uncomfortable when you meditate on something further out in the astral plane or whatever, then you just have to rescind that connection, I guess. Rescind the contract. Well, once you're known to an entity, they might take an interest in getting to know you know what you're up to. thing about, say, like with Ouija boards and stuff like that, it's you leave something in between planes of existence and pull them across into, like, I guess, the barrier between dimensions. And that can be kind of disruptive for the entity, I guess, if they're stuck somewhere, or it might be between being forced to be awake all the time and so on. Maybe you'd get ratty if you were stuck between dimensions, you couldn't rest. But yeah, we're very curious to see how things unroll and unravel. I mean, I wouldn't rule out black reptilians, because maybe there's things in that character that are significant. Right, this is Pixie signing off, and have a great one, bye.